The new Ultimate Spider-Man for a new Ultimate Universe. Visionary writer Jonathan Hickman, House of X, Powers of X, and acclaimed artist Marco Checchetto, Daredevil, bring you a bold new take on Spider-Man with this, the debut title of the new line of the Ultimate Comics. After the events of the Ultimate Invasion, the world needs a hero. Who will rise up, take that responsibility, prepare to be entangled in a web of mystery and excitement as the all-new Ultimate Spider-Man comic redefines the wall crawler for the 21st century. These people stole your future. These people robbed you of your destiny. The question is, do you want it back? Quote, Iron Lad. 20 years ago, the Maker prevented a radioactive spider from biting a young Peter Parker. He likewise prevented the creation of any other superheroes and formed a secret council to rule the world from the shadows. When Tony Stark learned the dark history of his universe, he sought to undo it, prompting the Maker's Council to attack Manhattan, killing thousands and frame Stark for it. Peter Parker has lived his life unaware of the Maker's Council or the truth behind the spider, but this is all about to change. Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3, Issue 1. On a cold January morning in New York City, snow is falling steadily. Peter Parker is grappling with the realization that he's not getting any younger. He finds himself in a crisis, yearning to do more with his life. 20 years ago, Peter Parker's trajectory took a different turn when he didn't become Spider-Man. The Maker intervened, preventing the radioactive spider from biting Peter during his teenage years. Since then, Peter has led a different life, marrying Mary Jane Watson and becoming a father to son and a daughter named Richard and May, respectively, naming one child after Uncle Ben and the other after Aunt May. Peter now enjoys a fulfilling life with his loving family in a nice house. Peter Parker confesses to Mary Jane that he didn't sleep. In response, MJ questions whether it was a case of not being able to sleep rather than a choice. Peter admits it was a bit of both. Meanwhile, their daughter May discovers a mysterious orb in Peter's bag, adding an element of intrigue to the situation. Peter Parker is employed as a journalist at the Daily Bugle, working alongside his uncle Ben Parker, who holds the position of the Bugle's managing editor. A year ago, New York City expressed a devastating terrorist attack, allegedly orchestrated by Tony Stark, resulting in numerous casualties, including Ben's wife and Peter's aunt, May. While Peter is deeply concerned about Uncle Ben's well-being, Ben has not coped well with Aunt May's death. In contrast to Peter's upbringing by an emotional, expressive, and observant Aunt May, Ben tends to internalize his emotions. Peter, mirroring his uncle's tendency to keep things inside, understands the emotional toll this tragedy has taken on Ben. Despite their shared inclination to internalize, Peter wants to provide support for his grieving uncle. In a poignant moment, J. Jonah Jameson recognizes the need for emotional solidarity, removes his tie, and places it around Peter's neck. The unexpected gesture symbolized a supportive connection, indicated that even the stoic Jonah understands the depth of Peter and Ben's sorrow. While strolling through the streets of New York City, Uncle Ben and Peter engage in a conversation. Peter, concerned about Ben's well-being, mentions that people are wondering if he's okay. In response, Ben clarifies that it's not about everyone, specifically Peter, who is expressing concern. Peter, finding it challenging to freely articulate his emotion, concedes with an okay, fair enough, but emphasizes his worry for Ben. Ben probes further, questioning why Peter is worried. Peter, struggling to voice his emotion, finally admits, because you haven't said anything, not one word about how you're doing or how you feel. He expresses his concern that Ben has been silent about his own grief. Ben reflects on the past, reminding Peter that when he was 15 and lost his parents, Ben and May took him in. The first year was tough, but they protected, taught, and explained the world to him. Ben acknowledges that May was better at handling these matters, but he tried his best to fill the void left by Peter's parents and Aunt May. However, he recognizes that it's been 20 years, and that's a long time. Ben understands the weight of loss, admits that not a day goes by without feeling the pain of his parents' absence. Uncle Ben, acknowledging the shared grief, silently states, "Then you know exactly how I feel." This poignant exchange highlights the enduring impact of loss on both Peter and Uncle Ben. Peter and his family attended a memorial for the deceased of the terrorist attack. Father Matthew Murdoch gives a eulogy to the audience, reassuring even though their loved ones are gone, but their memories will not be forgotten. After finishing his speech, Murdoch relinquished his position to Harry Osborn, the CEO of Oscorp Industry. Harry had lost his parents, Norman and Emily, and he tells the audience about a fond memory of himself and his father playing catch when he was 7 years old. However, Harry admits that he still cannot move on over his father's death. MJ privately tells Peter that she met Harry once and how he is now a completely different person. Peter recalls that Ben had interviewed Norman Osborn over the years, but he never got even a hint of who Norman really was other than being known as a ruthless billionaire who founded his company. Peter and Ben later returned to the Bugle and found John Jameson storming out of the meeting with the Bugle's owner, saying that he quit. Robbie Robertson informs Ben that Fisk and the newspaper's advertisers strongly disapprove of Bugle's inflammatory content, specifically their investigation into the Stark terror attack. So Fisk proposed to Ben to become the Bugle's new leadership following Jonah's ejection, as long as he toes the line. However, Ben silently walks out, effectively quitting the Bugle in solitary with Jonah. Following the meeting, Fisk prepares to leave in his car, but is suddenly attacked by an green armored assailant riding a glider who destroys Fisk's car. But fortunately for Fisk, he barely escaped with his life. At a bar with no name, Jonah and Ben discuss starting their own newspaper in which, according to Jonah, they tell no lies. Peter soon joins them and reveals that his job is safe and Robbie is made the new leader of the Bugle. After Peter learns about their decision to start a newspaper, he asks Ben why he quit the Bugle. He explains that it's an easy choice. He cannot take being an industry of compromise 1 minute more. Ben then notices something is troubling Peter, to which he explains that there is something wrong with himself, but he cannot explain what it is. It is something that he doesn't know what to do. Ben encouragingly tells Peter to not spend his life waiting for something to happen, but make it happen. Peter returns to his home and tucks in his children to bed before having a talk with MJ. They have a good family and their life is doing well, but Peter needs a change. MJ tells Peter he is an amazing husband and father, but if he is not satisfied with who he is, then she is supportive of what Peter will do as long as things do not change between them. Peter walks out to the rooftop and pulls out the metal orb. Last night, Peter suddenly receives a package in which it emits a holographic message from Tony Stark, who explains that he sent the message to Peter from 6 months into the future after an attempt on his and his companion's life that led to a terrorist attack caused by an orbital platform. He further reveals that Peter and every other person were supposed to be the world's prominent superheroes, but their fates were upended by the Maker. Tony is trying to revert the Maker's action, and he wants Peter to become Spider-Man. He has sent Peter a Picotech stealth suit to mask his identity and a bioorganic catalyst to undergo his post-human transformation. Now, Peter Parker carefully cradles the orb in his hands and gently taps on it. As he does, a black ball emerges. In that moment, a quote from Iron Lad echoes in his mind. "These people stole your future. These people robbed you of your destiny." The significance of the orb and the Iron Lad's words intertwine, adding an air of mystery and urgency to the unfolding narratives. Iron Lad's words linger in the air as Peter Parker inspects the orb. Within it confines, Iron Lad reveals, "You want it back." In Peter Parker's recollection and conversation he shared with Uncle Ben, a significant moment unfolds as he reflects on the past. Uncle Ben urges Peter with the words, "Then wake up." Slowly from the test tube, an element or object emerges, heightening the anticipation of what awaits and contributing to the unfolding mystery in the storyline. Peter Parker's demeanor shifts to one of joy, giving the impression that he is on the brink of embracing the life he was destined for. More significantly, it seems that this new chapter in his life aligns with what the universe requires. The anticipation of fulfilling and purposely future adds an optimistic and hopeful note to the storyline. The narrative takes a poignant turn with a flashback to a conversation between Peter Parker and Mary Jane. In her characteristic way, Mary Jane delivers an encouraging message, culminating with the iconic line, "Go get him, Tiger." As the spider rests on Peter Parker's hand, a moment of intense anticipation ensues. In a symbolic act, the spider injects the radioactive serum into Peter's body, marking a transformative and pivotal moment in his journey. 2 decades ago, Peter Parker's life was meant to take a different trajectory, a path altered by the radioactive spider bite. The course of this universe was meant to be distinctive. However, a 35-year-old Peter finds himself married to Mary Jane Watson with 2 children, May and Ben, despite the tragic loss of Aunt May and Uncle Ben serving as a guiding figure. Peter's life has unfolded in unexpected ways. Now, the radioactive spider sent by the Iron Lad has brought a radical transformation. In this turn of events, Peter Parker is thrust into the role of the new Ultimate Spider-Man, signaling a shift in the destiny of both the character and the universe itself. This is the new Ultimate Universe. Next issue, Ultimate Spider-Man, Volume 3, Issue 2.